Stop. Your neighbor with the brand new SUV is broke. The woman down the street in the dented Honda is a millionaire. Same street. Same paycheck. Give or take. Let me explain. The neighbor's name is Elon. Every 3 years, a new Tahoe shows up in his driveway. Fresh paint. Temporary tags. For houses down lives Hannah. She drives a 2013 Honda CR-V with a scuffed bumper and 190,000 miles on it. Elon has $8,000 of negative equity and a payment that will outlive his patience. Hannah has a 7-figure net worth. So what does driving the same car for 10 years actually say about you? Spoiler. It is not you are cheap. It is something more interesting. And a little uncomfortable. Stick with me for 10 minutes. I will show you the exact number. Elon's little habit costs him by age 65. I added it up twice. I did not believe it the first time. Here is the brutal truth. The moment Elon drives that Tahoe off the lot, it quietly sets a chunk of itself on fire. No flames. Just gone. A new car loses about 20% of its value in the first year, and roughly 60% by year 5. Elon's S70,000 to he is worth about $56,000 by the time he gets it home, and somewhere near $28,000 by the time he is bored of it. $42,000 evaporated for the privilege of being the first guy to spill coffee in the cup holder. Here is the part almost nobody clocks. Depreciation is front-loaded. It is savage early. Then it flattens out hard. The most expensive years to own a car are years 1 through 5. And the cheapest years per mile are years 6 through 15. The back half of a car's life is the bargain. So when Elon trades at year 3, he eats the worst of the depreciation. Hands the cheap, reliable miles to a stranger, and then climbs right back onto the steep part of the curve. Over and over. I have a name for this. I call it renting the curve. Elon is not buying cars. He is renting the single most expensive stretch of the depreciation curve. On a loop. Forever. And Hannah bought the whole curve once in 2013. And she has been living on the cheap end of it ever since. As of mid-2026, the average new car payment in America hit $800 per month. That is the average. More than 1 in 6 new car buyers are now paying over $1,000 per month for a car. Here is what Hannah understands that Elon does not. A car payment is not just an expense. It is an anti-investment. It is the exact opposite of building wealth. Every single month. Watch what happens when you take that same $800 and instead of handing it to a lender, you invest it. By the time Elon signs for his second Tahoe, Hannah's brokerage account has quietly passed $70,000. By his fourth, she is north of $250,000. He has a slightly newer cup holder. She has an account balance where she can walk into her boss's office and not be afraid of the answer. Elon's 3-year habit run across his whole working life, from age 25 to 65, costs him just over $2 million. That is the conservative version. Run it at the market's actual historical average, and it is closer to $5 million. The choice was never new car versus old car. The choice was new car versus retiring a decade early. Elon did not buy a Tahoe. He bought a nicer commute and quietly sold his future to pay for it. But old cars break down. Hannah is going to get destroyed on repairs. It sounds reasonable, which is exactly why it keeps people broke. Elon's payment of $800 per month is $9,600 per year. So say Hannah has an absolutely nightmare year. The transmission goes $1,400 plus a wheel bearing. Call it a brutal $3,000 total. She is still nearly $6,000 ahead of Elon that year. And most years, she is not spending $3,000. She is spending a couple hundred on an oil change, and tires, and the occasional sensor. The data backs this up too. When you look at the all-in cost of owning a car, repairs and maintenance are consistently the smallest controllable cost. The real killers are depreciation and interest. And a paid-off old car zeroes out one and collapses the other. The repair argument is not just wrong. It is backwards. The old car only feels expensive because the cost shows up all at once, instead of getting quietly drained out of your account every month, where you have trained yourself not to look. If keeping your car is this obviously smart, why does it feel so weird? Why does everyone around you keep trading in? Nobody, and I mean nobody, in the entire car buying machine makes a dime when you keep your car. Nobody. The dealer makes money when you buy. The finance office makes money on your loan. The lender makes money on your interest. The automaker needs you back on that lot every 3 years, or the whole business model falls apart. There is not one person in that building whose paycheck improves when you say, "You know what? My car runs great. I will drive it another 5 years." Financially speaking, you are the villain in their story, and the whole system has been quietly engineered to get you to replace, not repair. The genius of the long loan is that it lets the dealer sell you a monthly number instead of a price. And the second you start thinking in payments instead of prices, you have already lost. When you stretch a loan that long, you spend years owing more on the car than it is actually worth. That is called being underwater. And right now, it is at an all-time high. Nearly a third of people trading in a car owe more than it is worth. On average, $7,000 in the hole. Elon walks in, still owing $52,000 on a Tahoe. That is currently worth $44,000. He is $8,000 in the hole before he even says hello. And the salesman smiles, slides the paperwork across the desk, and says, "We will just roll that into your new loan." And boom. Elon is financing his old mistake on top of his new one. He is paying for a truck he does not even own anymore, wrapped inside a truck he cannot actually afford. Right there. The machine. The perpetual payment trap. Fully assembled. Here is what that new Tahoe was really selling Elon. And it has almost nothing to do with transportation. It is selling a feeling. Economists call certain goods Veblen goods, after the guy who noticed a century ago that humans use spending the same way. A peacock uses feathers to signal. And a car is the purest signal we have got. Because unlike your salary or your investment account, everybody can see it. Elon's finance Tahoe is in a very real sense a costume. Money he does not have. Spent to impress people he does not know. Chasing a feeling that was always going to fade. And Hannah's dented CRV is the exact opposite. It is not a costume. It is a tell. It quietly says, "Here is a person who can wait. Who can sit in mild discomfort at a red light and not care. Who values what stays over what shows." Psychologists call that low time preference. which is just a fancy way of saying you would rather be wealthy later than look wealthy now. That one trait, the ability to wait, is one of the strongest predictors of who actually builds wealth that we have ever found. The car is not the cause. The car is the symptom. When researchers surveyed thousands of real millionaires, the most common cars they owned were not Ferraris. They were Toyotas, Hondas, Fords. The list of top brands driven by millionaires reads like the parking lot at a Costco on a Saturday. Something like 60% of high-earning households do not even own a single luxury brand car. Warren Buffett, worth more than the GDP of small countries, drove a Cadillac with hail damage. On purpose. Because it was discounted. Now hold that next to the guy leasing a luxury SUV, who refinances every 3 years. And the whole illusion just snaps into focus. The people who look rich and the people who are rich are very often not the same people. And the difference usually comes down to the exact choice. We have been circling this entire time. One group buys the appearance of wealth. The other group quietly buys the real thing. One skipped car payment at a time. If you are sitting there right now, a little self-conscious about your older car, maybe parking it a row away from the nice cars at work, feeling like the dings and the faded paint, say something bad about where you are in life. I need you to flip that completely. That car is not a sign you are behind. For a lot of people, it is the single clearest sign they are ahead. Every month you do not make a payment is a month you quietly voted for your future self against a stranger's opinion of you in traffic. And nobody is ever going to throw you a parade for it. The dealership does not mail you a thank you card for the Tahoe you did not buy. The reward is invisible. And it is enormous. And it shows up about 20 years later as a number in an account that hands you choices other people simply do not get to make. I am giving you permission to do something quietly radical. You are allowed to keep the car that works. You are allowed to let Elon win the driveway and lose the decade. You are allowed to opt out of a game that was rigged against you the second you started thinking in monthly payments. Here is what you will do right now. 1. Hit subscribe, because the algorithm will not show you the next video if you do not. 2. Calculate the real cost of your next car. Not the payment. The total cost. Over 7 years. 3. Send this video to one person who says, I deserve a new car. Tell them. You do. But maybe you also deserve to retire early. Because Elon did not know. Hannah knew. Now you know. See you in the next video.